Hey, I'm Birdman.
I'm Bruce.
Time to get on target at
The Hub. Here
Hey,
we
Bruce.
are.
Here we are. You got it. So
Couple more days to countdown.
We're headed off to SHOT actually. So this posts Friday. It's Thursday when we record these, as of now. Saturday morning, I'll get up early and go out and be at the Try-and-Buy.
And
then it's
you got to
SHOT.
set it up because Try-and-Buy is Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday is Try-and-Buy, and then Monday is Industry Day, and then Tuesday starts the SHOT Show and rock and roll.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
So
Looking forward to see what you do with your.
We got a question by someone that was asking on the Springfield. Do you remember which model? XD?
I think it was an XDM,
Okay.
if I remember right, because I think it was like similar to my 10, but it was a 45, I believe.
And they're talking about the 15-round magazine.
Then it was a 9.
It was a 9, yeah. So the 15-round magazine, he was saying that he can't get it in without just slamming the crap out of it.
It might have been a 17, but anyway, there's we'll just jump in. There's a quick couple things about that. A lot of, not all guns, but some guns have a problem. If the mag is loaded to the capacity, 17, 18 rounds, some of these magazines,
Right.
you load it all the way up, and then you put it in with the bolt closed on the gun, not with the bolt back.
Right.
And it pushes up against the bottom of the bolt, which that always does anyway, except that the
right?
pressure is so high on it. Now, some manufacturers don't squeeze that many in. I think we did.
So it's that whole balance of they wanted to make it small, but they wanted to fit so many rounds. So
Everybody thinks it's capacity
it's a
for-
14-round magazine, not really 15, and yeah.
Well, HK addresses that. I like how they do it. They said they make a 15 round instead of a 17 to compete with Glock size.
Right.
But it's 15. If you look at their magazine, it stops way before the bottom, and they just want to make sure that there's spring left. And there's talk about the last 1 or 2 rounds actually wearing the spring faster.
So this spurred a discussion about a gun we just covered. So Michael, who is the manager for the Hub, did a little preview kind of thing, shot the 57, and he didn't like the magazine, and he didn't like the magazine, and we didn't actually, when we did the first thing last week, only put 10 rounds in it. Well, he's like, no, yeah, try to put a full thing of full mag of rounds in it, and guess what? What happened?
Once it got to about 16, started to get a little funky a little bit. But then when it got to about 18, it was really a pain. The last couple went in, but it was not comfortable putting them in, and then they weren't. Now, we did not fire it from a 20. Now, Michael did, and I guess he said it fired.
Right.
I don't think he had a problem with it. But I bet you they're going to do something to that magazine. We just discussed that one.
Yeah, it seems like. So we're going to show. So what we're going to do is something I've not seen anywhere yet. I'm not sure. I'm sure somebody will immediately say, "Oh no, another video is already done." But anyways, we've got both. So first of all, right off the bat, let's talk about the differences between these two guns. Obviously, we know the cost is one thing, right?
Yeah.
You'll see that the Ruger is a little bit longer. Okay, and did you say that they look about the same length?
Except that the width here on the grip, it's
and obviously this was previously recorded, so we're not touching a gun while we're live, just so everybody knows. So it is longer in the slide. It does have that slot cut out. It sits lower in the hand, but the other thing is the weight. So take a look. We're going to show you the weight of, first of all, the FN and then the Ruger. Take a look at this. Okay, and now we're going to show you that was without the magazine. That was just a gun, and there was what, an ounce difference?
Yes.
Okay. No, not an ounce difference.
No, it was a tenth of an
ounce, something like that.
Yeah.
So now look at just the magazines. Okay, so the magazines, this one's an ounce more.
Yeah. That one's metal and this one's polymer.
And this one's polymer, so there's the difference there.
Yeah.
So you figure that this gun's going to weigh about an ounce more, and ammo's going to weigh the same weight. So that's not going to be a
It's
straight wash
surprisingly
there.
that theirs is so light. I mean, the Ruger's so light compared to the FN when it's longer.
Right.
A longer slide. They did cut it to slide out, but part of that is to keep the slide light so it functions with this particular caliber.
So they really need to fix their magazine because, and you want to talk over the differences and what you...
Yeah, well, actually, this is an older 5.7, probably 7 years old, something
Okay.
like that. And when they first come out with that color, and the newer ones now, of course, have serrations on the front of the slide. So there's a difference there, and a little bit difference in the sight. I think most of it's the same. There's one difference in the manufacturing of the slide. We'll discuss that.
Okay.
But so this one, these are very old magazines, and they're polymer. And most people say, well, they've got polymer lips, are going to spread. But you can see how tight those are.
Right.
There's no movement, and this has always been flawless. The rounds have been shot through it. So this is an older used gun. And the Ruger, of course, is brand new. We shot it last week, 10 rounds.
Right.
And so let's.
So we did. He did 10 rounds.
Did you want to do the weight on this one, or you already did?
We showed the weights on both
ways.
of these. So
let's
let's
just do the two. We reshot them both.
There you go. So watch this. Now immediately I said to Bruce, "You shot the 5.7, the Ruger better."
Well, the other thing was I noticed, yeah, and I shot 10 rounds last week and 10 rounds this week,
And he was a little faster with it.
and so we're going to discuss that right now.
Yeah.
What we think we found about this, I think the biggest thing is it sits in a hand lower. It's longer and it has a little bit less flip, even
Right.
though they all have a little bit of flip. I think there's less flip, and I think the trigger's smoother. So now you can shoot, so only shooting it twice, you can actually shoot it a little faster.
Right.
And still be fairly accurate. Imagine if you were sitting there taking your time trying to hit a small target, you could do that with this at long distance. So let's get into how we rated these, and then we'll explain a little bit about that. Basically, we rated the Ruger again at a B, like I did last week.
Okay,
With an
I'll show you the
asterisk,
sheet here.
And we'll go through the sheets, and you'll be able to see those.
Yep, they're right in the middle.
And basically, that's a B. Now, when we came to the FN, and we're going to call the FN just a 5.7 because I think that's all it was ever called.
Okay.
FN 5.7.
Right.
Now, the Ruger, I guess they trademarked at 57. So, whatever it is, they're both very similar.
Tomato.
Yeah. So now we actually gave the feel on the Ruger an A instead of a B, and they're going to see these.
Right.
I'm comparing the differences, and we also did. There was a slight difference in cost, 13 versus 700. Yeah, and actually, I think Michael says it's going to be a little under 7.
I think you put 639 or something.
650
Go look back. I got to look.
Yeah,
something.
it's
So it's
on there.
actually a really good price.
Yeah, and then
It's
the
like
other one's right in
650-ish.
the neighborhood of
Or under.
$1,300. So the only thing holding back a little bit on the Ruger
This is brand spanking new.
is this magazine. But you
Yeah.
mentioned that there's been mag problems before with other companies, and they got out the new mag and they sent new mags out to the people that had the gun. So that's kind of a nice deal. So these came with 2 mags. When they come out with their fix,
There's the
our
call of the week.
When they came out with our fix, I'm trying to turn this off real quick. I'm sorry about that.
Doesn't matter what time of day we do it either. It's crazy.
No. No, it doesn't make any difference, does it? I'm very sorry about that. Even this time in the morning. Okay. Getting back, they can always send the magazines out.
Right.
So once that's corrected, there's only one thing breaking the tie for me, because then it would be an absolute tie. You can shoot a little bit easier. I think I want to see a little bit more on what happens with these after they've had hundreds of rounds or thousands of rounds.
a couple thousand
I'll
rounds.
give you an example, because one thing FN, they both have a history, a great history. This gave them both A's for factory history.
So is it okay to call you out on one thing? Do we had to restart the video for?
All the safety there. I'm
So
giving it.
you went to start the first one and didn't fire the safety on this because it's up front.
That tells you the last time I ever shot one.
Well, but that also shows you that more traditionally you're expecting this kind of a safety.
Because of 1911 safety we grew up with.
Right. So that was. But yeah,
If you get used to it,
you get used to it, and that's because he hasn't shot it for a very, very long.
yeah, and then here, we shoot so many different kind of guns, it's really difficult to get used to them. But
Right.
this is more or less, I remember shooting Glocks before,
Yep.
we've done the league, and I've actually dropped the safety on a Glock that doesn't exist. Your thumb
You
just
reach
kinda
up
goes
and
down.
drop the Yeah,
if you're
the Glock
used to shooting
safety,
1911s. Okay, getting to this one real quick. This particular gun. I remember talking to FN, and these we're going to call these again personal protection guns. We already went through that last week. They're very small niche. We're only hoping the ammo's going to come down in price.
Right.
So when I was talking to them, these were stamped uppers.
Right.
Yeah, slide is stamped and it's plastic coated over it. They were noticing after, I think, 20-some thousand rounds or a little bit more, when they're magnafluxing them and x-raying them,
Right.
they're seeing some small hairline fractures.
Microfractures.
But no explosions or anything.
Right.
And so they decided then to go to a forged slide. So this is the forge, so they upgraded that. So for FN, and these are also chrome line barrels, chrome line chambers, because it's more of a military gun.
Right.
For overseas, not for us. So they're really into this longevity thing. Now, when we started wondering why there's so much pressures on these things, I did some research on the pressures, and this particular cartridge has 50,000 pounds of chamber pressure.
Dang.
Now, let's compare that to a 10 millimeter with 34,000 rounds of pressure. We all think a 10 is bright, or no, 36 for the 10, or the 3-7 is 36 and one's 34.
Right.
We know the pressures those have.
Yeah.
So to put this kind of pressure in here, and this is going to be a casting from Ruger, one of the ways to keep the money down.
Right.
We want to see it run a little bit, but let's just say, in Ruger, shoot it, and if something ever happened to it, Ruger would fix it. So then you start looking at the prices, and then if you can shoot that, it's more intuitive as far as how it lines up.
So you'd still rate this as a definite good buy.
They're both almost completely equal. The only reason this is better, and if it is, it's not better. It is potentially it has a history of longevity.
Yeah.
But it better have.
Value versus use.
Yeah. You could wear these out and then.
These guys already have the track record, brand new on the block, but have a good track record as a company, definitely.
And then you're going to stand behind anything that happens with this
there you
gun.
go.
Now, sure, they know about these pressures on these guns. In fact, just to let you know how much pressure a .223 has in an AR.
Right.
It has like 4,000 pounds more pressure than this round. That's it.
Wow. So take your pick. You won't go wrong.
They're both great.
Very cool. Just make sure you're checking things out. We'll be doing some stuff at SHOT Show. I'll be doing it on Birdman Media, also with the Hub as well. So also the hubaz.com. I want to check that. I'm Birdman.
And before we go.
Oh, no, we're not going. Okay.
No, the whiskey guy going to be there at your suite?
No, they're not going to be there. The whiskey guy will not be there. We'll have whiskey, but no whiskey guy.
Okay. Okay, again, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hey, I'm Birdman.
I'm Bruce. Be safe.